This film was incredible. I'd say it might even be a hidden gem from, like, a hidden horror gem from the 90s. Hey guys, welcome back to sort of Off the Shelf. I'm Tom HD, and this week we found off the shelf was...
The riots began because the stores could not meet the demands of Sutter Kane's novel, In the Mouth of Madness.
This is not reality!
It's all happening for real, Trent.
I know this book will drive people crazy. Let's hope so. The movie comes out next month.
In the Mouth of Madness, directed by horror legend, master of horror, John Carpenter, starring Sam Neill and Julie Carmen. This film was released in 1994, and of course, like most Carpenter films, did not do well critically or financially at the time. Now, I think that this film is really good, and the premise is incredible. I really love the premise, because the whole idea of the film is that there's this, like, fucking superstar of a horror writer, Sutter Kane, right? And he's bigger than Stephen King. Like, everybody reads his fucking books. Like, fucking 1 billion copies were sold, and everybody loves them, and they're super spooky and really well written. But the thing is, sometimes they cause people to kind of lose it a little bit, to kind of go a little crazy. Like, the more, like, not mentally well readers kind of, like, the books kind of drive them off the edge. Or that's what they say at the beginning of the film. And the film kind of is like, it's the idea of, it's a movie based on one of his books, but the book isn't real, but it's real in the movie, but, like, in the movie, it's a movie about the book, and it's hard to explain, but it's just so cool, and I love it. And this movie just made me wish that the book was real, because I wanted to read the book, right? And because the whole idea of the movie is that Sutter Kane is like God, right? Because you're in a book, right? He's writing these books, and this is the book world, right? So technically, he can do whatever he wants, do whatever he pleases, you know? They're kind of like chess pieces, or like puppets, right? He can control them, and Sam Neill is the main character, not only of the movie, but of the book, right? It's kind of confusing, but I like it. And I like, throughout the entire film, I'm like, man, this premise is so good. Of the idea of, like, this horror writer, like, writing a book that's, like, I mean, it's kind of like a cliche, like, oh, what they write in the book happens in real life, but it's more complex than that, right? It's kind of like, he is reality. Like, he's creating reality. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, it's not like the book is magic or anything. It's like, he is literally God, is what he says. Because as I said, they're in the book, right? Maybe this isn't reality. Maybe the movie is just the book. Maybe there was no apocalypse. Maybe he was literally just speaking to his creations, right? He was able to speak to his characters that he wrote, right? And it's just, or maybe not. It's a really, really strong premise. I love the premise, and I think it was executed very well. But at the time, critics did not like it. Or they said it was whatever. They said, oh, they didn't really make the most of its intriguing premise. They didn't do this. It wasn't well done. It wasn't that. But I mean, obviously, people didn't like The Thing when it came out. Now people consider that a horror masterpiece, right? So you can't really trust critics all the time. And I think this is a chance where you can't really trust the critics, because this film just was unique, right? It was weird. And another thing that I don't like is, like, the critics were trying to make it seem, like, or at least one critic said that, oh, it's weird, like it's a bad thing. No. Weirdness is good, especially in a horror movie. You know, weird kind of, I don't know, I think when a movie's weird, it makes you think about it more, right? It kind of gets in your head. And being weird, I don't know, there's just something about weird movies that are just more entertaining. I mean, obviously, there's a pretty obvious reason as to why, but I just think that the weirdness of this movie adds to it. It doesn't detract from it. It adds to it. And I can't get over how strong this film's premise is. Like, honestly, it's just so damn good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I really like how, like, pretty much everything in the film that happens, like, because, like, the movie starts with Sam Neill, Trent, he is being put in a mental asylum, right, or, like, a mental hospital, and, like, he's going a little crazy, he knows things, right, and it's, like, kind of cryptic and vague, and you don't really know what he's talking about, so, essentially, there's this, like, doctor, whoever, comes into his room, and he's talking to him, he's like, I can get you out of here, right, and you just need to, like, tell me things. So he told him, so basically the whole film is him telling the story to this guy, right? And he's essentially trying to warn them, because the whole idea of the movie is that the books are like literally are like a virus. They like cause people to act violent. They cause people to, you know, like attack each other and act barbaric, right? That's kind of the idea. And the writer, he is trying to spread the books everywhere so he can pretty much cause the end of the world. That's what he's trying to do and kind of start anew is the idea, right? Because he's God. And he's trying to... it's kind of like Judgment Day, in a way. And the book itself, In the Mouth of Madness, which the movie is named after, is the book that's being written, you know? And that book is also kind of like a gateway for the old gods kind of to come in, you know, and start anew, right? That's kind of the idea. But this film also draws inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft and a story of H.P. Lovecraft. And which also is kind of funny is that Lovecraft story draws inspiration from an Edgar Allan Poe story. So this is a movie about a fake book, about a fake movie, about a story, about a story. Or no, like, about based on a story, based on a story. Like, that's kind of deep, you know what I mean? Like, that's really getting in there. I think it's pretty wild. But, this film really does draw inspiration from Lovecraft. Not just from the monsters' designs, which are pretty Lovecraftian in their own. It's just, like, the idea of, like, insanity, right? And diving into it. It's the idea of, you know, cosmic horror a little bit, you know, with the old gods and stuff like that. There is a lot of Lovecraftian elements in this film. And as I said, obviously, the elements of, like, diving into madness, because, I mean, that's what the film's about, right? Is kind of losing your mind, being driven mad by the creatures and by the gods and stuff like that. And it's just very interesting, right? Because one thing I like about the monsters is you don't see them that much. Right, they don't overdo it. You see the monsters occasionally, but it's only near the end of the movie, and you don't really see them in detail, right? Like, it's kind of quick shots, kind of shaky, you don't really see them. And I like that, you know? As you guys know, I'm a very big, you know, I'm a big guy on suspense. I'm a big guy on, you know, atmosphere. And I think this film, while I do think it is more interesting than it is scary, I do think that the, like, suspense is there, right? Because even though you know Sam Neill is going to make it, because obviously he gets into the mental hospital at the beginning of the movie, you don't know what got him there, right? Like, you don't know exactly what he did or what somebody else did to get him there. So it kind of builds the mystery of what's going on with the books, what's going on with the author, you know, stuff like that. Like, the mystery is very well put together, and I just really like how, I don't know. I just really like it. I cannot express how much I really like this movie because I love horror books. I think some of my favorite novels are horror novels or horror adjacent novels because I just think I click with horror, like especially in writing, more than any other writing. I just think horror writing is some of my favorite forms of writing because you can get really weird with it. You can get really like in depth with the descriptions, right? And that's what I'm always about, descriptions and writing, like, you know, to like really get like an image in your head about what they're describing. You know, and horror I think does that incredibly well. Not saying other books don't. I'm just saying there's something about horror that just really clicks with me. And this movie is literally a movie about a fake book. But the movie's real, but the book isn't. It's a very confusing premise. But since I love horror novels so much, this movie, like being about a fake horror novel that I really want to read, is like, it's just so good. It's so good. And man, this movie rocks. Because and the ending is great too. Okay, so like, I feel like I've spoiled a lot about this movie. I guess I could give a spoiler warning, but I will spoil the ending of this movie. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch the film, then come back. So the ending of this movie, Sam Neill's right? Everybody goes crazy, they start killing each other, attacking each other, beating, like, you know, being barbaric and violent, and he eventually, like, he just walks out of his cell, and, like, it's madness. There's, like, papers everywhere, broken glass, like, blood. You know, people were killing each other, beating the shit out of each other. And then he, like, hears a report about this thing saying it's, like, an epidemic. About how, like, all over America, like, there's just people, like, being violent, attacking each other, and how it's gonna spread to the rest of the world. Right? Because earlier in the movie, they said that the book has been translated in, like, 18 different languages. Right? So it's spreading. You know, and it's basically the end of the world. That's pretty much what it is. And Sam Neill, because they also said that they were working on a movie, which helped spread the violence as well, even more. So he's just walking around this empty city, and then he sees that the movie is playing in the movie theater, and it has his name on the thing, and if you look at the poster, it says a John Carpenter film. And then he walks in, and it's literally the beginning of the movie. It's this movie. And it's so meta, and it's great. And then it starts playing points. It's like, it's reality. This is reality. This is not reality, right? It starts showing that. And I think Samuel's character, since he's lost his mind at this point, he just starts laughing. Because I feel like he sees the irony in the situation, right? Because, I mean, it's the end of the world, you know, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So why not just see the comedy? Why not see the irony and how stupid you were, right? Like, where isn't the irony in that? You know, you were denying the facts the whole time, and you denying it was exactly what everybody else was doing. You know, oh, it's just fiction. It's not real. You know, this is reality. So he found the irony and he started laughing, and that was the end of the movie. And it's just like, it's really good. It's really good. I love this movie. Really, really solid. Now I want to watch Prince of Darkness, the other Carpenter Apocalypse trilogy film. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Now, would I recommend this film? I would absolutely recommend this film. I think if you're a horror fan, horror novel fan, or if you're just a John Carpenter fan, or you just want to watch a good movie, this is absolutely for you. You should watch it. I'd say it might even be a hidden gem from, like, you know, a hidden horror gem from the 90s. This film was incredible. And with that being said, I don't know if I'm just being nice or if I'm hyping myself, but I think this is my rating. I would rate this film an 8.55 out of 10. And with that being said, you know, guys, really like the video, and yeah, I think I'm saying what I say. I think I'm saying peace. So guys, hope you like this video. Share, friends, subscribe, notifications on, comment below if you liked it. And I've been running Tim HD. Off to Hobbs End. Oh yeah, also something that's really cool is there's like Hobbs End is like a town in the movie, but it's actually in the book. So like there's like a real reality and the book reality, but it kind of blurs like what if they're both the book reality, right? Or maybe that, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. But like Hobbs End is like a fake town that Kane created for a book, but it was in the movie and in the book. But then when he went to reality, Hobbs End didn't exist. So like, but in the movie they like traveled to the book reality. It's crazy. It's great. Watch this movie.